The burial style for Eunice Chabutai in Namisindwa was strictly handled by a team from Ministry of Health wearing white attire, which they sprayed to disinfect before undressing. It scared residents. There was tight security deployment to stop members of the public access to the burial ground.
Of this Ugandan who has been buried today under serious supervision by security, and he was buried by the experts who came from the Ministry of Health, who are attached to Mbali Referral Hospital. We ensured that the standard operation procedures were fully observed. The only people who were there at a distance to observe, it was only strictly family members who are less than 5 people. The rest of the people, we made sure that nobody moves near her.
Late Eunice Chabutai, now confirmed by the Ministry of Health, died of coronavirus from Mbale Regional Referral Hospital.
She presented with signs and symptoms consistent with COVID-19, and with all the clinical presentation that included, she had a fever, she had a dry cough, she had headache. It is critical at this stage, as government and as Ministry of Health, to let the public know that this is an eye-opener to the entire public, because all along many Ugandans thought that the COVID-19 or the virus in particular for Uganda is different from that of other countries. But this is evident that it is very possible to get the virus and die. And given the reports we have got from Namisindwa and from Mbale, if you look at the timelines when the person presented with signs and symptoms and when the death has occurred, the time frame is really very short. So we urge Ugandans to not relax, but think about their personal lives and that of the communities, and for those who are around them, that at this point in time would not need to relax, even when government has actually released on the lockdown measures. So we urge you and we call upon you to put in place and to ensure that all the preventive measures as highlighted by the Ministry of Health and the World Health Organization are adhered to. We call upon you to ensure that you use the face mask whenever you move out to the general public. Ensure that you social distance. For those of you who are used to moving outside of your homes, even when you don't have any serious business, we urge you to still continue putting that preventive measure in place if you can. Because as the country, we may not be in a position to treat all individuals who will be tested and found to be positive with COVID-19. Because if we get so many cases like this case in particular, just imagine if there were 1,000 cases, it would be impossible for government to take care of all of these cases. So the best approach for us is to ensure that we practice the preventive measures and ensure that as advised by the World Health Organization and the government in general, we adhere to those preventive measures. Of course, as I conclude, this was hinted on by the Director General, but some of the key issues that we are going to embark on as government for now. You remember our communication to the public and our engagements within the public, and the responses from the public initially indicated that the situation is normal, and Ugandans thought that they can easily adhere to they can get the virus and end up living with it. The situation is completely different now, so we need to move in the positive direction as advised by the health experts.
The LC3 chairman Robert Kisenge Mitiero said the sub-county is in panic.
We have a problem here in our sub-county after hearing the death of this lady whom they are saying she died of corona. People are worried. Some others don't want to go in the quarantine. But for us as leaders, we think if the government can come in to protect them.
A resident says on suspecting a COVID-19 death, some people deserted their homes in fear.
You can see they have stood at a distance, so they are really scared. being the first case in Uganda and moreover in our area or in their area.
Namisindwa is one of the border districts which has not received face masks.
We can also request that they supply us with the masks because people used to gather these border men and the others, so we have a problem here.
The 34-year-old Eunice Chebutai was working as a VHT at Bwasungui Health Center 3 in Bwakaweka sub-county in Namisindwa district. Eunice Chebutai is a Kenyan married to a Ugandan. The deceased developed cough and body weakness, although she was well and participated in the mosquito net distribution exercise in the district.
The history we have got from where she was working, the people she has been staying with, because a few days ago she was involved in a team which came to join us as a district to distribute mosquito nets.
One of the relatives, who did not want to appear on camera, said the deceased was being managed in one of the clinics in Bukaweka before she was transferred to Mbale on Wednesday.
The only people who were there at a distance to observe, it was only strictly family members who are less than 5 people. The rest of the people, we made sure that nobody moves near her. But I want to appeal to people of Namisindwa and in this region that what has happened is a signal to us that this is real war which needs a calling of everybody. I want to appeal to everybody to remain calm. We shall hear from the President of the Republic of Uganda, who will officially inform the country. As a chairperson, this task force, yes, worries are to be there, but as a leader, for me, I am stable because the government is fully in charge of what is happening here, and I want to appeal to people that you shouldn't fear, because the government is in full control to ensure that all Ugandans who are here, you are safe. But what is very important for me and for all of you is to observe the regulations as guided by the Ministry of Health.
Ekyembi nga ministry abantu abasinga obungi baali balowooza nti obulwadde buno mu Uganda tebuliiyo era nga bangi balowooza nti nno abantu abafuna obulwadde bwa COVID-19 mu Uganda tebasobola kufa. Olwokuba tufunye omuntu ono afidde obulwadde buno ate nga mu kiseera kino tunaakumanyira ddala watuufu we yajja obulwadde buno ebyenjawulo mwebuli era nga twongera okukubiriza abantu baffe okwongera okugondera ebiragiro n'okwongera bo bennyini okwefaako okuteekesa mu nkola ebiyinza okubayambako okukuuma obulamu bwabwe n'obwabo ababali ku lusegere. Kikulu okutegeeza bannayuganda nti si kirungi mu kiseera kino kugayaala oba butateekesa mu nkola ebiyinza okutuyambako okuziyiza obulwadde, kubanga gye tukomye okugayaala ate gye tugenda okwongera okufuna abantu abafuna obulwadde bwe bati. Nga bwe mulabye keesi eno ebalaga nti omuntu asobola okufuna obulwadde n'alaga obubonero ate n'afa mu bbanga ettono. So ekyo kyandibadde kyongera okuzibula amaaso abantu baffe ne bateekesa mu nkola ebyo ebiyinza okuyambako obulamu bwabwe ate n'obw'abantu abali okumpi. Tubeetondera olw'okuba nti nno mu kusooka lipooti ezaali zivudde mu Namisindwa zaali ziraga nti omukyalo ono si munnayuganda naye nga akulira ekitongole eky'ekikugu oba ekiwaayo ky'ekikugu Dr. General bw'abategeezezza omukyalo ono yakasiddwa okuba nga munnayuganda era nga ava mu disitulikiti y'e Manafa mu Bubolo East Namabia na Munyali Sisongolpa. Okujjako ekyenjawulo nti olw'okuba nti twali twagala nnyo okukakasa okwongera okumanya nti nno oba ddala kituufu omukyalo ono yafudde ekirwadde kya COVID-19, sampo eyamuggyibwako yakebereddwa mu bifo ebikulu 4 nga muno mulimu ekifo kyaffe ekimanyiddwa ennyo kya Uganda Virus Research Institute Entebbe, nga mulimu ekifo kyaffe ekirala kya Central Public Health Laboratories e Butabika, bamukebera etololo mu kifo era awakeberebwa ate era ne ku Makerere University. Ebifo byonna bina sampo muno mwekebereddwa byonna biraze nti omukyalo ono yafudde ng'alina ekirwadde kya COVID-19. Mu kiseera kino bannaffe aba Namisindwa district bazzeemu bukubirirwe okubanga ate bongera okutuula era minisitule by'obulamu egenda kusindikayo ttiimu ey'abasawo abakugu abakola ku by'okulondoola mu ndwadde, okusomesa ku by'obulamu ate n'okwongera okulondoola abantu mu bifo by'omu bitundu ebyenjawulo kitwandiyise communities okusobola okulaba nti twegatta ku bannaffe abali mu bitundu ebyo okwongera amaanyi ku bintu byonna ebyenjawulo ebikolebwa okusobola okulaba nti ate obulwadde buno tebwongera kusaasaana mu bantu abalala, ate n'okwongera okumanyisa abantu b'omu bitundu ebyo ensonga nga bwe ziri ate n'amakulu agakirimu mu ngeri gye tusobola okwongera okwetaasaamu obulwadde bwa COVID-19.